Why your salary feels smaller every year, even after raises. You got a raise this year. Maybe it was 3%, maybe it was 5%. Maybe your boss called it a reflection of your hard work, while looking mildly uncomfortable, like the number embarrassed them too. And for about a week, it felt good. You checked your bank account a little more often. You thought about upgrading something. You felt, for a moment, like you were winning. Then the feeling disappeared. Not because anything went wrong. Nothing dramatic happened. No emergency, no crisis, no single bad decision you can point to and blame. It just evaporated, quietly. The way warmth leaves a room when nobody notices the window is open. And now you're back where you started. Except somehow you're working harder to stay there. Here's the part that should bother you more than it probably does. This isn't a personal failure. This is happening to almost everyone you know. Your coworker who makes great money, your friend who just got promoted, the couple down the street with the nice car and the tight jaw. They are all quietly doing the same math you are late at night and getting the same unsettling answer. You are not bad with money. You are living inside a system that was never designed to let that raise feel like anything. By the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why your paycheck keeps growing while your peace of mind keeps shrinking. And more importantly, what almost nobody tells you about breaking out of it. Let's start with the lie you were taught to believe. You were told that money is math. Earn more, spend less, save the difference, and wealth accumulates like water filling a glass. Simple, linear, fair. But money was never just math. Money is psychology wearing a calculator's disguise. And once you understand that, everything about your smaller feeling salary starts to make disturbing sense. The first thing nobody tells you is this. Your brain doesn't measure money in dollars. It measures money in comparison. This is called the reference point problem, and it's one of the most quietly devastating truths in behavioral economics. Your brain doesn't ask, is this amount of money good? It asks, is this amount of money good compared to what I expected, what I had, or what everyone around me seems to have? So when your salary goes from $60,000 to $65,000, your brain doesn't file that as more. It files it as the new normal, almost instantly, usually within a few weeks. The $5,000 stops feeling like a gift and starts feeling like it was always yours. And the moment it feels like it was always yours, it stops generating any happiness at all. This is why lottery winners report returning to their original happiness levels within about a year. Not because the money disappeared, because their reference point moved. Your raise didn't fail. Your brain just refused to let it count. But here's where things get scary, because reference points don't just reset quietly. They get hijacked. Here's the scary part. You are not comparing your life to your own past anymore. You're comparing it to a curated highlight reel of everyone else's best moments, streamed directly into your hand dozens of times a day. 20 years ago, your reference point was your neighborhood, your parents, maybe your coworkers. A manageable, mostly honest set of comparisons. Now your reference point is a 26-year-old in Dubai filming a rented Lamborghini. A friend from college posting a home renovation that took 3 years of secret debt to finance. A stranger on your feed casually mentioning their passive income while conveniently leaving out the inheritance that funded it. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real peer and a performance. It just absorbs the image and quietly recalibrates what enough means. So even as your actual income rises, your sense of enough rises faster. You're not falling behind reality. You're falling behind a fictional average that never existed in the first place. This is the invisible tax nobody talks about. Not government tax, not inflation tax. A psychological tax, paid every time you compare your real life to someone else's edited one. But let's be honest, comparison isn't the only thing eating your raise. Something more literal is happening too. This is where most people make a huge mistake. They assume a raise is found money, extra, a bonus round. And found money, psychologically, feels safe to spend. So the raise doesn't go toward savings, it goes toward finally getting the nicer apartment, finally upgrading the car, finally subscribing to the services that make life feel a little more manageable. Streaming, delivery, a subscription box, a gym you attend twice a month and pay for 30 times a year. Individually, none of these feel reckless. That's exactly the trap. Nobody destroys their finances with one big irresponsible purchase anymore. They do it with 14 small, reasonable ones, each under $20, each easy to justify, each quietly recurring in the background like a second invisible rent. Economists have a colder name for this than treat yourself. They call it lifestyle inflation, the almost automatic upward drift of spending that tracks income increases, dollar for dollar, until the raise you fought for in a performance review is fully absorbed before you even notice it left. You didn't get careless. You got targeted by pricing models, subscription defaults, and a consumer economy that studies exactly how much extra feels safe to spend. And this is where things get dangerous, because two invisible forces are now working against you at the same time. Force 1, your reference point keeps moving, so more money never feels like more. Force 2, the actual cost of staying in place keeps rising underneath you. Rent, groceries, insurance, childcare. None of these are optional lifestyle inflation. They're the base cost of simply existing. And in the past several years, they've climbed in a way that quietly outpaces the modest raises companies hand out to avoid the appearance of stagnant wages. So even if you spent nothing extra, no new subscriptions, no lifestyle upgrades, no finally purchases, you would still feel the walls closing in, because standing still now costs more than it used to. This is the part that makes people feel almost betrayed. You did the responsible thing. You worked hard, got promoted, followed the script you were handed as a kid. Work hard, get raises, build a life. And the script quietly stopped being true sometime while you weren't looking. But modern life made this even worse because it added a fourth invisible cost, one that doesn't show up on any receipt: emotional overhead. Every financial decision today requires more mental energy than it used to. Which subscription to cancel? Which delivery app has the best deal today? Which credit card gives the most points on groceries? Which side hustle might finally close the gap? You're not just managing money anymore, you're managing an entire second job of optimizing money. Unpaid, unnoticed, and exhausting. This mental load has a name in psychology: decision fatigue. And it quietly drains the one resource that actually determines whether people build wealth. Not intelligence, not income, but consistency. Exhausted people don't make consistent decisions. They make convenient ones. And convenient decisions, compounded over years, are exactly how a good income turns into a stressful life. So, where does this leave you? Here's the uncomfortable truth. You cannot out-earn a moving reference point. There is no salary high enough to satisfy a brain that keeps recalibrating enough upward every time you get close. People making $400,000 a year feel this exact same anxiety, just with more zeros attached. The feeling is not about the number. It never was. But here's the realistic hope, and it's not the fake sunshine kind. The moment you understand that your dissatisfaction is systemic, not personal, You gain something more valuable than any raise. You gain the ability to opt out of the comparison you never agreed to make. That doesn't mean stop caring about money. It means redirecting your energy toward the two things that actually respond to effort: lowering the automatic invisible drift of your spending and anchoring your sense of enough to your own life instead of a stranger's highlight reel. Because the people who actually feel calm around money, not rich, calm, are rarely the highest earners. They're the ones who quietly stopped competing in a race that was engineered to have no finish line. Your salary isn't shrinking. Your peace of mind is being sold back to you. One comparison, one subscription, one finally at a time. And the only real raise that's ever going to feel like enough is the one you give yourself permission to stop chasing.